Hello and good morning, learners. My name is Mithilesh Kumar Jha, and I am the course instructor for this course, Introduction to Western Political Thought. I welcome you all in this live session and request you to uh, raise any question or any thought that you have about the topics which we have covered so far. Many of you have also sent your questions on the Google form which was circulated, and in the beginning I'm going to start with responding to some of those queries, and I would also like to respond to some questions which were asked on the discussion forum. So I'm so sure you are enjoying this course, and I request you to use the discussion forum regularly to ask your queries, doubts, and give your feedbacks. We'll be happy to hear from you and respond to your queries, doubts, and any inquiries that you may have. During this live session also, as I've said, you can continue to ask a question in the chat box, and I'll be very happy to respond to them as well as we go ahead with this live session. So one of the general queries that many of you have. Yes, Rambabu, good morning. Samanwai, also good morning, and I'm going to respond to your queries also about the PSC and the syllabus for PSIR. But first, let me respond to some of the questions. Hi, Arti, good morning. To some of the question on the Google form which was circulated for this live session. One question is asked by Costa, that is about the type of examination that will be held for us. Is it essay type or MCQ? So many of you may have this query as well, and that is the nature of end semester exam or final examination. So for this course, the end examination will be of MCQ types. So you will get multiple choice questions, which would be combination of your assignment, or so 25% from your assignment, about 10 questions from the videos that you watch, and the remaining would be analytical question to assess your understanding of concepts or themes or contents of this syllabus. So the nature of all these questions would be of multiple choice. So that's my answer to Costa question. And then some of you have just mentioned your name. Yes, another query from Sajjad Makbul is about how to get course certificate. So as you know, this is open for enrollment. So anybody can enroll for free to learn from this course. But if you want to get the certificate, then you have to register for the examination. And registration is on. And I request you to do the registration before October 28th to get the certificate. So to get the certificate for this course, you have to register for the exam, and then you have to secure minimum percentage. That is to say that you have to score minimum percentage from assignment and also from the end semester examination. And say from the assignment, you are receiving one assignment every week, and that is about 12 assignment over the course of 12 weeks. So out of 12, your best 8 assignment will be uh, uh, used for your assessment. So out of 12, best 8 assignment that you have submitted will be considered for grading, and out of that you have to score 20 10. So out of that the weightage for the assignment is 25%, and out of 25 you have to score 10%, and examination is for 75 percentage point, and out of that 75 you have to score a minimum of 30%. So a total of 40% is marks you have to secure. 10% is from your assignment and 30% is from your end semester exam to get a certificate for this course. So I hope that that's my answer to you. Just you need to keep in mind that you need to pass both assignment or end semester examinations. So you must submit regular and weekly assignment. And suppose if some of you have missed 1 or 2 assignment, don't worry, continue to submit rest of the assignment in time. Don't wait for the last date or and the last hour, because there would be many issues, and once the date is over you cannot submit the assignment. So submit the assignment early, watch the videos, raise your doubts and queries on the discussion forum. We'll be very happy to respond to your doubts and queries. So for the certificate you need to pass both the assignment and end semester exam. So 30% minimum from the end semester and 10% minimum from the assignment. So suppose some of you decide not to submit any assignment and you secure more than 40% in the end semester exam or end examination, you will not be given a certificate. So to pass the course and get the certificate, you need to secure minimum percentage both in the assignment and also in the end semester exam. I hope that answered to Sajjad Makbul question, and many of you may have similar queries also. It also answers Sambhavi Tripathi question that due to certain circumstances I joined course late. I am now unable to submit assignment because timeline is over. What can I do? So Sambhavi, you can submit the rest of the assignment, and as I said, for the assessment purpose, only best 8 out of 12 assignment will be considered. So I'll request you to submit rest of the assignment regularly and in time. Don't wait for the last day. Okay. Next question is from Dhanyaba Bala Sahib. Why does we should study political thought in ancient world which are not relevant to modern era? To respond to this queries, I will suggest that please consider that when we discussed in first 2 lectures in this course as a part of introduction to Western political thought, we have discussed about method, and there we talked about contextual method. And in the contextual method, we have not only talked about linguistic, social, economic and the historical context, but also the intellectual context. And in that sense, the writers, thinkers, philosophers of the later years are also in dialogue with the philosopher, thinkers of the past. So when Aristotle is developing his ideas on politics, he is also responding to Plato and Socrates. When Machiavelli is developing his understanding of politics, he is also in a way responding to Plato and Aristotle. So did many modern thinkers starting from Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, John Stuart Mill, Karl Marx and others. So there is a kind of continuity in political discourse in any tradition. You cannot understand the political thinker in isolation from this intellectual context. And to answer your question about the relevance in modern era, I'm sure if you have watched all the videos on Plato, Aristotle, or Machiavelli, the kind of questions they are raising, the response they are giving about the mixed constitution, about the polity, about the question of justice or citizenship, continue to be relevant. And some of us are engaged in rediscovering or re-articulating the meaning of many of these terms, such as constitution, state, citizenship, stability, and so on. So that's my answer to your question. Uh, Next, I'll come to the questions which is being raised on the chat box after responding to the question on the Google form. Next question is from Kishore Vasnik on, sir, will you send study materials PDF which is needed for the study? And I completely agree with you. Once you watch the video, you need some written material to supplement that video and to have further understanding or reading on the topic or on the thinker which is not covered adequately maybe in the video. So what I have followed, that for each lecture I am giving you in the last slide a number of reference which you can refer to further read on the topic or on the thinker. Besides that, the PPT for each video or each lecture is being uploaded, and I am sure many of you have been downloading it or reading it as well. About the transcript, the process is on. All the videos and its transcript will be uploaded on your course portal, and some of them have been already uploaded which you can download and read. And so transcript takes time, and once transcription is done we need to review, and once review is done then we upload it on the course portal. So as soon as such transcription and its review is done, it will be uploaded, and that you can use to understand the topic, thinker, and the themes that we cover in a particular lecture in a week. Now Subru Chakravarti is asking about the relevance of this course and its how far it is helpful to prepare for civil service exam. And similar question is asked on the discussion forum also by Samanway. So I'll respond to both of you. So for this particular syllabus in civil service exam on political science and international relation, there is a section on political thought, and most of the thinkers in this course are part of that syllabus also. So I think that this course and the thinkers that we have covered will be helpful for preparing for the civil service syllabus on political science and international relations, particularly its section on political thought, where it covers from Plato to Aristotle, Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke, John Stuart Mill, Karl Marx. So these thinkers are also part of this course, and in that way it could be helpful for you. Then many of you have just mentioned your name, asking any questions, so I'm skipping those names. Then Amit Hussain is asking why have Eastern political thoughts dominated world politics, although Eastern scholars had visionary ideas in this regard. So this is some of the things which we are all grappling with, Amit. And as I said in the beginning of this course, that Western political thought is one among many traditions of political thought. And yet when we talk about politics in modern world, in any society, many of the concepts and ideas that we use is taken from a particular tradition, that is the Western tradition. One way of understanding such dominance is that of colonialism or imperialism, through which the text or the thinkers or the ideas in one tradition become a kind of globalizing thing, and then the other traditions such as Islamic or Arab tradition, Indian tradition, Chinese tradition, and African tradition remain somewhat, in this knowledge hierarchy, not adequate enough to be taught, to be taken, very seriously or considered as equal to the Western political thought. So, analytical thinking, analytical philosophy, for a very long time considered to be the exclusive domain of Western thinkers and philosophers, and other traditions were not given the similar status. Of course, in the contemporary times, we question such dominance, and there is increasing assertion or re-articulation of political thought, where we increasingly see thinkers and text from other traditions given equal significance to, say, many Western thinkers. Still, I mean, the practice of democracy or politics in many societies, and the ideas and concepts that we use to understand them, explain them, explore them, are derived from Western tradition, and that's the reason for their dominance. But there is now increasing challenge to such dominance. Amit, I hope I answered your question. If you have further question, you can write in the chat box, and also use the discussion forum to have further discussion on this. Cephalizan is asking, can we say Plato was a fascist? What is your opinion? Well, we often use fascism or fascist ideas in a very indefinite, or what to say, in a very loose manner. It has a very specific context. But yes, Karl Popper, in his text Enemy of Open Society, considered Plato as, a thinker of totalitarian regime, particularly because his ideas on philosopher king, that he considered as the best or ideal state. But in state and laws, we have seen state in laws particularly, he also gave the idea of second base state. So to consider Plato as a fascist will not be a correct assessment of Plato's thought. And especially, as I have said, the Republic is also about a theory of justice, also about a philosophy of education, and there is many positive aspect of that text, but there are certain aspects which can be criticized. But how far it is correct to classify Plato as a fascist is something one could differ, and in my opinion, certainly he is not a fascist. He is a very, in a sense, believing in the hierarchy and undemocratic, and these values or the ideals that we now take for granted. And if you consider it in the Plato's time and then criticize or support a thinker because of his or her opinion, that is not the correct way of studying a political thinker and his or her text. Sarah is asking, how problematic can Plato's and Aristotle's views on citizenship get? if heads of a state in modern day democracy decide to implement them. So there is a difference between Plato's views on citizenship and Aristotle's views on citizenship, sir. Uh, Aristotle has a very thick notion of citizenship, and it would be, and if it is implemented in later and spirit in today's world, it would strengthen democracy. It would empower the people and make the government more accountable. So, if you recall, definition of citizenship according to Aristotle is being able to rule and ruled in turn. So, every single citizen is capable of ruling and being ruled in turn. That's a very thick, active participation in the public life or in the political life of the city-state. If you contrast it with our modern understanding of citizenship, where citizens have certain rights and the state and government is there to protect those rights, acknowledge those rights, and often constitution mention those rights of the citizen, and the state is there to protect those rights. And if it violates, then citizens have the recourse to go to the court of law. However, the participation of citizen in active life of the polity is limited to a periodic election, and that is not the way Aristotle think about citizenship. Of course, in Plato, his conception of political order and stability in the state or in the ideal state is very different from Plato, very different from Aristotle, where in Plato you have the philosopher king having the knowledge of what is good for the people, and once the philosopher is the king, then there is no need of subject or the people telling the king what is good and what is desirable for the republic. King knows, because of his training, because of his knowledge in metaphysics or theory of forms, what is good for the people. So there is no kind of participation in Platonic vision of ideal state where he expects every classes to do their job, which is best suited to their nature without interfering to each other. So that's the difference between Plato and Aristotle. And certainly, if Aristotle's vision of citizenship is implemented, will have much more effective democracy and accountable government. And the catch here is that Aristotle do not extend the citizenship to many communities, such as women, resident aliens, or slaves. So the citizenship was given to very small number of a small section of population, whereas in modern democracy, everyone, after attaining certain is get the citizenship of their country, their polity. So that is the difference. We cannot confine or limit citizenship as Aristotle did, but the substantial or the theoretical aspect of his notion of citizenship is very relevant even for modern democracy. I hope that answer your question. Sarah is asking next question: why was Plato not in favor of democracy? Was it just because his mentor was poisoned under democracy? Do you think that made him biased forever towards democracy? Yeah, partly yes, partly no, because Plato's certainly contempt for democracy was because his mentor Socrates was poisoned under the rule of democratic ruler or tyrants or 30 rulers who were ruling at that time in Athens. Plato's major concern was that in democracy, when everyone are equal and they do not have the knowledge or sufficient knowledge of what is good. So in the theory of form, often ordinary people or the common people are guided by their emotions. In democracy, there are the chances of supporting something at one moment and challenging the same thing in the next moment, because it is driven by passion, it is driven by emotion. Whereas for Plato, to have stability, to have justice in the state, it should be guided by reason. And if you understand the three classes that he talks about, or the role of reason, and why philosopher king should be the sovereign, or having limitless authority in the state, is because this class is guided by reason, unlike the producing class guided by appetites, emotions, passions, or the guarding class, or the auxiliary class guided by their sense of honor. Philosopher king alone can provide stability and order in the state. So the context of Plato was, the political instability in Athens, constantly changing between the aristocrats and the democrats, and these groups created a lot of confusion, lot of instability in the Athens, and his approach was how to ensure stability, and there he envisioned a kind of philosopher king. So that's my response, Sarah. If you have further question, you can ask. Then A.D. Jadhav is asking about difference between Plato and Aristotle thought about state. So one basic difference between Plato and Aristotle, which is often highlighted, is what Plato considered his second best state becomes the best state for Aristotle. That is, the state ruled not by the philosopher king, or give no privilege to any particular section of the society, but everyone, which is ruled by mixed constitution or law. So in Aristotle, the idea of golden mean or the middle class, or the idea that there is a strength in the wisdom of collective rather than individual, is something which is very akin to the democratic ideals, and that is the difference. More on this, you can. I'll suggest you to refer to the two, three lectures that we have on Plato and Aristotle. Murat Al Ain is asking basic idea of Western political thought. It is very difficult to outline, but one of the purpose of this course is to introduce you to those ideas, not one singular ideas or concepts or trends in Western political thought, but there are various trends. So we have started with Plato and Aristotle, and within Plato and Aristotle we have seen the difference, or also between Socrates and the Plato. So the purpose is not to reduce or limit any tradition to certain few basic ideas, but to understand the complexities, understand the diverse or plural imagination of politics. So as I have responded to the previous question about difference between Plato and Aristotle on the state, is also an example that how Western political thought is also a plural tradition with diverse understanding of politics. In the next few weeks, you are going to watch videos on Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. They are from the social contract tradition, and within that tradition, there are differences between Hobbes and Locke, Hobbes and Rousseau, and so on. Similarly, John Stuart Mill and Karl Marx. So it's very difficult to outline the basic idea of Western political thought. You can have the understanding of Western political thought if you compare it with, say, Indian tradition of political thought or Arab tradition of political thought. But within the Western political thought, there are plurality, there are heterogeneities, and diverse understanding or imagination of politics, state, laws, rights, citizenship, and so on, as we are going to discuss throughout this course over the 12 weeks. Sarah is asking about how did the people around Plato and Aristotle perceive them? Because some of their ideologies were too radical. You are true, Sarah, and we really do not have much evidence to or resources to know more on their perception among the followers or the contemporaries. But consider this idea that Plato and Aristotle survived for many centuries. That in itself shows their standing in their contemporary times. So, how far their ideas was relevant, that we see from Aristotle, the city-states or self-sufficient or self-governing city-states were paving the way for the large empire, Alexander the Great, and the Roman Empire, and so on. So politically, in terms of political organization of a community, there was a new kind of development from the self-sufficient city-states or polis to a big empire or to bigger empires. But the ideals or ideas of Plato and Aristotle were very relevant, very powerful even in those days, and had wider acceptability or legitimacy of their ideas. The modern rediscovery of Plato and Aristotle is through its Arabic translation. So their ideas, their text also travel from one tradition to the other tradition, and that in itself shows their significance. Whether those ideas were radical or not, and how radical, that is something one can debate. For instance, in Plato, he believes in the existing social hierarchy or the hierarchy among the three classes. Can you consider those ideals radical from today's point of view? One can debate. Similarly, in Aristotle, his purpose of household or his ideas on slavery is not radical in that sense. So, how far their ideas were radical or ideologies were radical is something that one can debate. So, I hope that answered your question. Now, let me come to the chat box and the question that you are raising here. Okay, so some of you have missed first class or first week. Those videos are still there. You can go back, read it, and respond or raise question on the discussion forum. Only thing is the assignment you cannot submit once the last date is over. So please submit the assignment of the later weeks. You cannot submit for the weeks which you have missed. Okay. Shivam is asking, sir, can you please make text transcript of lectures for PPT? Yes, Shivam, we are trying to do it, and as it is done, we will upload it on the course portal. Please keep checking. Sanket is asking, won't we be covering philosopher like Gramsci and Hannah Arendt? No, Sanket, for this course. I have mentioned it in my introductory lecture too. Some of the thinkers like Gramsci, Hannah Arendt, which is part of UPSC syllabus, I guess, is not discussed in this course. So when we'll get the questions for assignment? So every week you are getting the assignment, I hope. So once the lectures are uploaded, along with it you also get announcement about the assignment, giving the due date of the assignment or the last date of submission. So please keep checking the course portal. Yes, you have to submit the question, inquisitive learner. So if you have enrolled for this course or following the regular announcement made on the course portal, you'll get to know about these methods, or how to submit the assignments and so on. So yes, it is online submission of the assignment. Pradeep Jha is asking, what will be the assessment pattern? Whether separate assessment for assignment and submission? Yes, it is separate, Pradeep, and as I said a few minutes ago, that there are separate assessment for assignment and also end semester examination. So from the assignment, out of 12, best 8 would be considered for the assessment, and out of 25% you have to secure 10% from the assignment, and from the end semester exam you have to secure 30%. So this minimum 10 or 30, that is 40% together, is required to pass this course, and it is assessed separately. Arti is asking, sir, how this certificate can help us apart from learning? There are many ways in which it can help you, Arti. If you are doing some other regular course in many institute or colleges, they consider the credits for the final degree or the certificate that you receive from the respective course. And also, if you are not part of any regular course, to know more about modern politics, many ideas, concepts that is integral for any understanding or any discussion on politics, I am sure this course will be very helpful. Even if you are a journalist or in some other profession where you engage with the question, or even a simple citizen willing to know more about the state, its power, its legitimacy, the question of sovereignty, why should we obey the state, I'm sure this course would be helpful. Or even if you want to pursue some professional career in that way, it could be of help. Again, inquisitive learner is asking, sir, kindly please tell me about the standard books for this course. So you please check the course portal. All the reference for this course or the standard books for this course on Western political thought are mentioned there. And for each lectures also, the last slide gives you the description of those text for particular thinkers and the theme that is covered in that particular lecture. So please refer to that to get to know more about the standard books on this course. Sandesh Chakravarti is asking, sir, I am a management faculty. I would like to know what are the interdisciplinary areas where we can use a combination of management and political thought. Chandresh, I mean, your suggestion is in a way innovative, and one need to think about and explore the possible collaboration between political scientists and management. And I'm sure in many IIMs or management courses also, politics is integral part, or the study of politics is integral part, and it deals with the question of management in so many ways. So many of these thinkers and their ideas, and particularly two thinkers, or the three thinkers that we have covered so far, say Plato, Aristotle and Machiavelli, overall their concern was to ensure order and stability in the society, and to ensure that there is lots of things or the ideas or the concepts that they deploy, which is in continuity but also something which differ from each other. Now, how those ideas, concepts can be used in the management is something which we need to explore, think about. Right now, I'll limit it to that, but I think there could be many areas, many questions in management where political thought, political ideas could be of some use. That depends how we are going to explore. So you can write to me, we can think about those possibilities. Pradeep is asking, we have started this course with Plato. Why we have not started with Socrates? Pradeep, to answer you, I mean, there are many ways in which this course could have been conducted. One of the ways in which I thought would be suitable, and this is the introductory course, and as I said, you are welcome to read many thinkers which is not part of this course, and also the thinkers which we have included, on them also there are plethora of literature available. So depending upon your interest, you can pursue it further. One of the reason why we started with Plato and not Socrates is because Socrates has not written anything. What was his idea, we come to know only through Plato's writing. So Socrates speaks to us from Plato's dialogues, and he is the main protagonist in many of the dialogues that Plato has written. So that was one limitation. Second was also one of the purpose or objective in this course is to understand the politics. And politics deals with the question of pragmatic issue on which you have diverse opinion. In Plato also, Socrates deals with how to arrive at knowledge, how philosophy should not be limited to the written or contemplation, but also a practice. So there is a kind of dialogue, or there is a particular method of arriving at knowledge according to Socrates. In Plato, the conception of politics is more about harmony and how to ensure harmony, order, and stability in the state. But politics deals with conflicts, diversity of opinion, contestations, and conflicts. How to manage those conflicts, how to manage those differences is something which makes politics as a master science according to Aristotle. So ideally, I should have started with Aristotle, but to understand Aristotle and his ideas better, one needs to understand Plato and also Socrates. So Socrates is discussed in first lecture on Plato, but on Socrates you can read something more, and other thinkers also which is not part of this course. Please read more on them. The way I have structured this course and the objective I have said, I thought it would be better to start with Plato. Okay, Late George is asking, what are the opportunities for the students of political science other than teaching and civil service? There are many opportunity, George, for the student of political science. You can join media, you can join NGOs, you can join parties, you can become the leader, you can become the social entrepreneur, and in all these things, the knowledge of politics combined with economics and other subjects would be very helpful. So there are many opportunities. So you can be a good journalist, you can be a good activist, you can also join politics or any other profession that you choose. The knowledge of politics would be helpful. Okay. Thank you, Arti. Sajal is asking, sir, I wish to pursue PhD in Western political thought, especially Greek political thought. Is this really going to be a relevant choice? Sajal, you can do that, but only challenge would be to get the sources on Greek political thought, because it's very complex. As I said, in the introductory course on Western political thought, we are using some of the concepts, some of the key themes in these thinkers and their text. Now, on the basis of that, to map or to explore the terrains of Greek political thought would be a challenge, but it's doable. Shruti, Smrita, Vasishta, good morning, sir. Good morning, Shruti. Sir, the exam which is going to be held on 19th December, is it MCQ based or descriptive? I have answered to this question, Shruti, in the beginning of this live session. Exam would be of multiple choice question, so there would be no descriptive or essay type question for the end examination. I hope that answered your query. Pradeep is asking. Okay, thank you, Pradeep, for asking your question. And do use the discussion forum and continue to have interaction on many of the themes and thinkers that we have covered. Sajal is asking, I'm really interested in studying the Greek thought in depth. Currently, I have been reading Sabine, but will a PhD in it be really useful except then increasing one's own knowledge? Yes, sir. If you are beginning in this area, your area of study that you think of pursuing, that is the Greek political thought or Greek thought, is interesting area, and there are scope to pursue it further. The challenge would be to understand the language, and on each of these thinkers there are so many work done by different scholars. So once you start digging on the writings available on these thinkers and their text, and precisely because there is a language barrier, these are written in Greek, translated not directly from Greek but from Arabic translation to modern English, and from modern English to other languages. So that would be one challenge. The other would be to approach this question methodologically. So revisit one or two lectures which we have as part of introduction to this course, to understand the differences among the scholars, thinkers, about how to pursue these thinkers, their ideas. So the question of interpretation, the question of methodology would be challenging task, but as I have said before, it is an interesting area and doable for a PhD, which you can think of pursuing. But once you start searching for it, you can get a lot of literature, lot of material already available on Greek political thought. And then for you to the challenge would be to arrive at a question which would be something that offers something new or new interpretation on the subject which is not done by others before. So in the PhD, you look for some new ideas, new approach, new interpretation, and how you are going to do it would be another challenge for you. Amit is sir, how we get admission in IIT Guwahati for this course and for any social science subject like geography, economics, and history. So this course is run by NPTEL in collaboration with CET IIT Guwahati. If you want to do this course, you have to enroll through NPTEL or through the course portal. For this course and for other courses like my colleagues offering their course in geography or economics, sociology or history, all these courses are available on the NPTEL website. I request you to visit those course portals and register or enroll for the course of your choice. Does that answer your question, Amit? Okay. So, in whatever time that is left with us, I'd also like to respond to one or two question which was asked on the discussion forum. One is by Rosemary about the relation or comparison between Kautilya and why he is called Indian Machiavelli, and what kind of similarities is there between Arthashastra and Machiavelli's text. Okay, Amit, let me respond to Amit's question. Apart from NPTEL, how to study regular courses in IIT, political science honors. So, Amit, we do not have political science honors here. And the details about the course that IIT Guwahati offer to social science student, you can refer to our website. We have one MA in development studies, and in that course, we have courses from sociology, economics, geography, history, and political science. So, as such, there is no specific course so far on political science honors and other subjects. Uh, for details, I suggest you to visit our department website to know more. So, to respond to Rosemary question on the similarities between Kautilya and Machiavelli. I mean, this is irony because Kautilya wrote much before Machiavelli. But as you know, uh, under colonialism, the rediscovery of Arthashastra or Kautilya's thought allowed them to interpret Kautilya as Indian Machiavelli. The similarity is that they have a very realistic or pragmatic approach to politics. So in Machiavelli also on the question of ethics and politics having its own autonomous sphere which is different from the ordinary morality, and Kautilya's theory of state and his from approval for certain practices which is not necessarily approved by the conventional morality and ethics. So those similarities allowed the Indologist or the colonial scholars to characterize Kautilya as Indian Machiavelli. But that's the incorrect comparison because Machiavelli could be, Kautilya or European Kautilya or whatever, because Machiavelli wrote much before. Kautilya wrote much before Machiavelli. So this comparison is not. This characterization is not entirely correct. However, there are many similarities in their approach to politics. The question of stability or sustenance of state or the kingdom. You have many suggestions in Machiavelli, whether it is discourse or the prince. And if you read Kautilya's Arthashastra, his Saptanga theory of state, his views on spies and diplomatic relations or Mandal theory, you will have a lot of similarities between the two. Rosemary is also asking about Aristotle's golden mean, and this question is very crucial or significant to understand many ideas in Aristotle. So, he said politics is a master science, and this characterization of politics as a master science is also because it has the knowledge of politics allow one to mediate between the extremes. So, unlike Plato, which was talking about a realm or a knowledge which is absolute, which gives the perfect knowledge about what is good for the society, and only few are capable of knowing that thing. So that's a kind of extreme views which justify the rule of philosopher king, or there is the idea what only certain class or the aristocrats are capable of ruling and governing because of their social position, because of their knowledge or skills and so on. On the other hand, you have the demand from the common people to self-govern themselves, or to self-regulate themselves. The idea of democracy. Aristotle wanted to avoid the extreme of both. The aristocrats or the philosophers and everyone should given the responsibility of governing. Aristotle wanted to mediate between the two, and his idea of golden mean, therefore, is reflected in the idea of mixed constitution as well. So, for him to arrive at stability, to maintain the stability and order, one needs to avoid the extreme and find out the path which is in the middle, or the golden mean. For more on that, you should refer to that particular lecture. Okay, Aditi is asking, Aristotle denies the role of politics and he combines it in a unique way also. So what it exactly means? Did he separate ethics from politics or not? Aditi, I think what I have explained in that particular lecture is that for Aristotle there is the role of ethics, but he makes a difference between the ethics or the universal ethics on the one hand and political judgment on the other. The political judgment is the combination. So for many there could be a kind of misunderstanding of Aristotle, and he wrote on ethics, Nicomachean ethics, which we have discussed, that there is the acceptance or acknowledgement of the role of ethics in politics. But he also regard politics as a pragmatic science. That means it deals with the practical question, not philosophical, contemplative or speculative questions. So it deals with the pragmatic, political, practical concern and challenge of the time. To respond to it, one needs to combine the understanding of ethics or universal ethics with the practical experience, and that practical experience in combination with ethics is something that makes politics a master science, to have the correct political judgment. So that is not to say that he separate politics from ethics. In this course, even in Machiavelli, it is incorrect to say that there is no role of ethics, or he separate ethics from politics. All these thinkers try to negotiate and renegotiate the question of politics with ethics, and that is how you should look at this relationship between ethics and politics in Aristotle. To answer your question, he does not separate ethics from politics. He regard or acknowledge the role of ethics in politics, but he also acknowledged the practical or the pragmatic side of politics, which requires ethics to be pragmatically be relevant and not merely for the speculative purpose. I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'll take few more questions before concluding this session, because that was the allotted time that we have had. If I am not able to answer some of your question, I request you to use the discussion forum for your question. Sasank is asking, hi Sasank, I did my PhD on peace process in Tripura, and currently I wish to pursue research on political theory. Please help. So Sasank, if you have done a PhD already on the peace process, one way of pursuing research in political theory is to go for a postdoc or to develop certain problems and try to explore that problem. That could be Indian political theory or Western political theory or on the basis of these thinkers and the themes that we discuss in this course. So one way is to go for a postdoc, or the other is to think about some publication and frame certain question which is relevant for political theory and thought. So once you develop that, you can write to me. I'll be happy to respond. Meenal is asking, sir, still I am not satisfied with the concept of the ideal state, utopia. Want to get. Yeah, Meenal, you don't have to agree or be satisfied with any of the thinkers or their conception of ideal state or utopia. You can certainly question or criticize those utopia, but understand that in politics, in political writings, in political imagination, utopia does play a role, or the conception of ideal does play a role. So, as I said on ethics and politics, it is necessary for the human being, it is relevant for the human society, because we cannot escape the question of ethics, and it is there in all the thinkers. Even in our everyday life, the notion of what is good and bad, what is correct or incorrect, is always there, and we always grapple with what is desirable, what is undesirable, what is morally good, what is morally wrong. Those questions are very at the very center of political debates, political concepts, which one cannot avoid. But which ideals, which utopia one should follow, that depends, and one could differ on that, and you can be critical about that. I hope that answer, but if you have further question, please write to me. I'll be happy to respond. I'll take the final question now, and then we'll conclude this session. That is from Rima. Please let me know whether we get the text transcript or academic script of the question. Yes, Rima, as I said before, that transcriptions are being done. It needs to be reviewed, and as it is done and reviewed, we upload it on the course portal. So for all the lectures, you will be receiving the transcript of the videos, and PPT I am sure you are able to download from the course portal. So you will be receiving them as it is done, and please keep checking the course portal to access those scripts and PPTs for this course. So thanks for being part in this live session or raising your questions and doubts. If you have further doubts and questions, please use the discussion forum and we'll be happy to respond. We'll have one more live session which you can use for this. Thank you. Thank you all. Did we exceed the time?